time, I think.
Is it almost time?
I think so. I don't know. Okay. Oh,
so you know what tonight? Go ahead.
No, I am so thirsty.
Yeah.
Because I've been in the
wood shop
all day.
Making sawdust.
Yeah,
I watched you fill up the big vacuum bag. For those of you who have been here before, and the big vacuum, the big shop vac, I watched you empty the bag, put a new one in, and fill it.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
With wood.
Yeah, wood.
Yeah. That wasn't anything from off the floor.
No.
The floor was covered too. And then you proceeded to do that. Then you emptied that one and made even
bigger mess.
Made more today. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, hey everybody, it's Matt and Chris, and it's Guitar Chat with Chris and Matt.
It is.
And it's Thursday, and it's 5:00, and it's time for Guitar Chat with Chris and Matt.
And this is the first time we've done it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because we had Thanksgiving last week.
And then you weren't here Friday.
I wasn't here Friday
for the reveal, and Jim and I did that.
I was in Chicago. And I had a great time in Chicago. So for those of you who, Chicago's giant, and there's lots of suburbs. So I didn't stay in Chicago, but we did go to the city a couple times, and it was really neat. And I stand by my assertion that now that I've been there and eaten food from there, there's nothing good here for me to eat. So I know what you're thinking. Maybe you're not. Well, maybe you're thinking it and you're not saying it because you're kind. But, gee, Matt, why are you such a fat? Why have such a fat belly?
If
there's nothing good
I understand that. Sometimes you eat to find something that's good, and you just keep eating until you find something that's good. Sometimes that's the whole idea of cafeterias, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it's not come in and eat a little bit, and because everything's really good. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you got to try
pile as much on as you can. Yeah. Ooh, they have Italian. Ooh, they have Mexican.
Yeah.
Ooh, they have ribs.
Shrimp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shrimp. Yeah. About 3/4 through the meal. Shrimp. Where'd you get those? Yeah.
So anyway, I was there, and I ate pizza at the. Okay, you know how like Yelp has Yelp reviews? You know how Yelp works, obviously. But
yes, I am familiar with Yelp and how Yelp works.
So you can imagine that there are some things on Yelp that are the top rated thing in your community, right? Mm-hmm. So it would stand to reason that somewhere in, like, say, we're in Westminster, Colorado, there's the best Mexican restaurant according to Yelp reviews. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like however they figured that out. Well, we ate pizza at the best pizza place in all of the United States. So says Yelp reviews.
Okay.
And that's Pequod's Pizza. And we went to the Lincoln Park location, which is not the original one. So some people in Chicago might go, the original one's even better. I don't know. The one we had was really good.
Okay.
And
what kind of pizza is it?
Well, they have deep dish, and they have a thinner crust, which is
style.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
So I'm becoming an aficionado of the tavern style pizza, and in fact, later that day I got tavern style pizza.
Okay. Let me ask you a question about tavern style pizza.
Okay.
How crisp is the crust?
Well, depending on the tavern you go to, it can be either pretty crisp or a little chewy,
or a little crisp, or a little chewy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me tell you, I like them all. I like the thin crust pizza. I think better than I like the thick crust pizza.
Thin crust pizza quite a bit.
Yeah.
Unless.
Yeah.
I had a run-in with a pizza joint last weekend.
Oh. Okay.
And it was mostly over wings.
Yeah.
But also over the pizza.
Well, let me tell you, Pequod's was excellent. I did not get what they're known for, which is the deep dish pizza, because I also got a beef sandwich while I was there. So yeah. Anyway, we got some super chats that drifted in while we were talking about
I think there might be one more about
Pequod's. Okay. So a couple quick super chats from you guys. Van Shank says, ad free for me. God bless you, my friend. Jay says, kicking it off before Brian makes me do it. Thank you so much, Jay. And Dastardly Dave, Sir David Danger, has kicked in another super chat and says, it's ad-free. Yes, it is. Ask Brian. Is that a 55, Chris?
What's that?
Is that a 55, Chris?
That is a 55. This is the 55 Chevy from, it is actually.
Okay.
It's also the car from, this is the two-lane blacktop. This isn't the car that he drove, but it is. I'm not going to get into it.
I think two-lane blacktop makes James Taylor seem even cooler. Was that in like the height of his heroin stuff, do you think? Or
I think, well, so it was 71 that they made that movie. Maybe.
He says the F word.
He didn't know how to drive a stick. Yeah,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, give me 3 yards and we got a race, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I
recently, the funny thing is I really like the cars. I really like the idea of that movie. Don't actually like the movie that much.
I think Vanishing Point is the same way.
It's fairly difficult to watch. Yeah. But I did get it on super high def Blu-ray the other day.
Cool.
Haven't watched it yet, but yeah. The original American Graffiti 55 Chevy is right down the street getting restored.
Neat. Are you going to get to see it, do you think?
I think I'm just going to have to go by.
I think you should.
And raid the place.
Okay.
Walk in with this shirt.
Hey, use like guitars.
Oh, you're the cars here. Yeah. Maybe I'll lead off with that. Yeah. So,
Chris, today we're going to be talking about how to fail at guitar making.
Okay.
And You noticed the thumbnail before we went live, and you said, "Oh, you put that one up."
Because you asked me what is the stupidest guitar ever.
Yeah, and
I said I don't really know, and then I Googled stupid guitar, and it became instantly.
I did too, and so if you saw the thumbnail before, it was actually that probably the most famous stupid guitar of all. Was it the Wang Caster?
The Wang Caster.
Wang Master.
I don't know that it says Wang Caster on the guitar.
Okay,
but that's what it's known as.
Yeah.
The pictures all say Wang Caster.
And if you want to be known for building something absurd, that guy, I don't even know who made it.
The funny thing is, like you said, everybody knows that guitar.
Everybody knows that guitar.
You know, we it'd be nice if everybody, Texas, yeah. Except he's known for the wrong thing.
Except he's known for something kind of dumb
and I think there's at least two of them that the guys made, because I saw two different sets of knobs, unless he just changed the knobs because it looked better with the black knobs.
Let's say this before anybody says anything. The guy who made the Wang Caster Master, whatever, the guitar, he's probably more famous than us.
Well, the guitar is more famous.
Oh, that's true. I don't know who the guy is.
We don't know who the guy is. Yeah. We're probably more famous than him.
Maybe.
Nobody knows the guitar.
But there are lots of ways that people can fail at guitar making. And the guitar that I put in the thumbnail, I changed it because it kind of, both those instruments kind of perfectly sum up some problems with building guitars. And so the guitar in the thumbnail, of course, is the Gibson Modern. Now, I don't know which year it is or whatever, but we're going to talk about the Wang Caster. We're going to talk about the Modern. We're going to talk about a lot of other things. We're going to talk about some mistakes that you and I have made, Chris. Maybe some things that we've seen other people do, and we're just going to talk about like why some guitar builders and some guitar companies, even the very successful ones, have just a dud every so often, or kind of, there's a stinker, right? I mean,
yep.
Okay. So if you guys want to get in on the conversation, please feel free to send us a super chat. We always see those. If you want to, I will go over to the comment section. I will look for things like a bunch of asterisks or a bunch of question marks or a bunch of something that will indicate to me, hey, I have something that's important and my opinion is valid, and I want you guys to read what I say in the comment section or something like that. So I guess I will be Tina Turner to your Ike, and you can put in whatever you want in the comment section. I guess I have to say
just write Wang Caster like 18 times.
Yeah. So and I like I say, a super chat is the best way. Thank you for everyone who is super chatting. And if you just type in a bunch of stuff and then write burp at the end of it, I'm probably not going to read it again.
No, it needs to be in the front of the comment.
It is, and then it's
like
and then it's
burp.
So
you need to write it more than once.
Yeah. And then before we wrap up for tonight, Chris, I want to talk about the Essential Guitar Building Workshop that the inaugural one starts tomorrow, and what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be building and how long it's going to be, and tell you guys a little bit about that thing. So there are lots of examples. There are numerous examples. There's probably numerous examples here in this shop of failed guitar, I don't know, projects, designs, things that blow up on the launch pad.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think the first thing that came to my mind, and it's probably fairly existential, is the best way to fail a guitar is to not start.
Well, you're right. Now, okay, so this is an interesting question. Can I pause you for a moment?
Sure. What
would you say to someone who says, Chris, how do I get started building guitars? Like, would you say, well, don't? If you want to have a lot of money.
I'd say, well, you know what's your ultimate goal? Okay. You know, I mean, do you just want to build one guitar and be done?
Okay.
Do you want to build? Is this something you want to get into and do a bunch of? Is this something you might think you want to do?
I think that's a terrific point, because a lot of people just want to make one.
Yeah. If that's the case, then the best way to do it is to come out to one of our classes.
Yeah.
And in 5 days, you'll leave with a really cool guitar that you did a whole lot of work on.
Yeah.
If it's something, if you're not really sure beyond that, if that's too much, kit guitars, lots of people start with those.
Kind of dabble, dip your toe in a little bit.
Yeah. You don't have a whole lot to lose on a $100 or $200 kit guitar if it goes sideways.
Bob Potter sent us a super chat and says, "Here's to Tina Turner." Driddle gave us a bunch of looks like eggplants and says Gibson Firebird X. Hi, Doug.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so
that's a stupid looking guitar.
Yeah,
we're a stupid guitar.
Let's talk about that one coming up too.
Yeah.
Let's remember. I think that'll come up.
Yeah, it will.
So what are some pitfalls that I think are people easily or very often
we've often talked about it. I think people underestimate how difficult it is to do a lot of this stuff, and they set their sights on something unachievable on the first guitar.
Okay.
And it becomes overwhelming, and they either finish it poorly or they don't ever finish it and get frustrated with it.
Like, for example, I want to make an exact replica of something, only I want to change the scale length and I want to change that.
Or even if not, I want to build an exact replica of a Gibson Firebird X for my first guitar.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You'd be money ahead to just go buy the Gibson Firebird X at that point. Yeah.
Find where they dumped them.
Yeah.
And see if you can't rummage up enough of it to put one together.
I can tell you I was in Chicago Music Exchange this last weekend, because it's about a mile from Pequot. and I didn't see a single
not because you were seeking out Chicago Music Exchange.
We went to Pizza First.
Oh, pizza. Yeah. Hey, look, I think right there.
And not a Firebird X in the whole place. And there was a lot of Gibsons there. Anyway. Well, I can't agree with you more, Chris. There's a lot of people who have this hobby that they really enjoy, and they, I want to start building instruments, and how hard can it be, right? I mean, I think that's.
Well, yeah. I think that's a good thing. I will relate a story that I watched here recently.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people think, well, how hard can it be to build a guitar? How hard can it be to build an effects pedal? These people are probably ripping us off with these expensive American-made effects pedals.
Yeah.
There's a great video. And I didn't watch the original, but Josh at JHS did kind of a response video to this guy in England talking about, and the guy in England wasn't necessarily pointing fingers. He was just asking a lot of questions about, well, are these too expensive? And he was kind of the opinion that, these really are too expensive. And to prove that, he disassembled a JHS fuzz pedal.
Okay.
And broke it.
Probably not a lot going on in a fuzz pedal, as I recollect.
No, not a lot. But I mean, it's a circuit board and it's mounted to the chassis, and there's knobs and da 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 da.
I was as a youngster. I'm sorry, but as a like I think I was 16, maybe 17. I bought the fuzz face, the big circle thing. And you have to pull the whole back cover off to put the battery in. And the first time I did, I'm like, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, there's not a lot of components in one of those, but he managed to break it making the video. And I was reminded, so one, it's more difficult to assemble than you would think. And two, something my mother told me when I was 7 or 8 is, Chris, anybody can take something apart. It's putting it back together. This guy couldn't even take it apart. I mean, he broke it completely. It was not going to work.
Not to mention all the research and development to get the case the right size and get all the holes
and all this other stuff.
Do it the same way.
It was a really good video, and I know a bunch of you have probably seen it. But it was really, really interesting, and it's really easy to minimize how much work or little work goes into basically anything. Short of a one-step job. What do you do? I add numbers all day. Okay.
Yeah.
Does somebody else provide you with those numbers to start? Yeah. Okay. Cool. And that's not to say that's because I can't do that, but
And why is the guy who can add things deserve to get paid to add things, and the guy who solders stuff together, has to hear, well, gosh, that's too expensive.
Yeah, I think they're screwing us on this. It can't be more than a couple bucks worth of parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
if it was a couple bucks worth of parts,
let's bring this back then.
You can't solder it together. You can't even take it apart.
Dylan says that a lot when he comes out here and we do pickup winding workshops with Dylan. He says that everybody who does it is like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I understand why the pickup costs what it costs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, okay, so let's circle back to ways to fail at guitar building. How does your example? I think I know, but
well, I think there's a lot of people that are afraid to try because in their mind it's it's beyond, or it's beneath them.
Okay,
it's it's too easy.
Okay,
I'd rather spend my time
complaining about stuff.
I was going to say playing or complaining. Yeah, one of the two.
How about the people that here's another good way to fail if you're just starting out, and we've talked about this numerous times, and you actually touched on it just a moment ago. The notion of biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
Like, I've never built a guitar ever, so I'm going to make. How hard can this be? I'm going to do something that, as it turns out, is actually quite difficult to do. And there's a lot of angles and a lot of things. So like while the Telecaster and the Les Paul both have 6 strings and both make noise through an amplifier, vastly different instruments to build.
You play Sweet Child of Mine on both.
You can do both. Yeah.
That was a bad example of a song.
But yeah, I think that, and the world is full of guys who've played Tellys and Les Pauls, and with equal awesomeness, but very, very different instruments to build.
Yes,
from scratch, wood and things like that.
Yeah, almost not the same instrument until the end when you go, oh, they do both have 6 strings.
Yeah,
cool.
Well, so we've done a number of Telecaster workshops. We've done a couple of Les Paul workshops, and there's another one coming up in 2025. I just haven't announced when it's going to be yet. The Telly one is like a breeze. It's like how would you describe the differences between those two?
Well, and there's one in the middle. Telly class is really easy because usually the first thing that you get to do is you get to sand the body, and it's flat on the back and it's flat on the top, so you can use a orbital sander and it goes really, really fast. And then there's an edge and there's a tiny little round over on the edge. Piece of cake. Yeah. A Les Paul, there's a back that's flat. That's the only thing. There's a bunch of different contours. Yeah. It's amazing. All the carves and things that are going on. and then you got a little round over, and you got more side to do because it's not thicker there. But anyway,
binding.
It's a lot more work. Yeah. There's binding. There's all sorts of extra stuff. Yeah, it's probably double the amount of sanding.
And don't get us wrong, you can obviously make a Telecaster more. You can zhuzh up a Telecaster, right?
Yeah. We're just talking about just a standard.
What's in the middle? Do you think?
Well, I think the PRS in a lot of ways.
Maybe the Strat too.
Yeah, Strat is in the middle too.
Okay.
Yeah, Strat is surprisingly complex because it's got big roundovers, and that's a thing.
Butch Landry says, I'm only making Telecasters, keeping it simple and fun.
Well, yeah. And the other thing too is if you're a person that is all about the end result, not the process, a Telecaster is a lot easier to get to the finish line on.
I think so.
So you can, rush to the finish and go, here it is, and then move on and do another one.
Yeah.
The other nice thing about a Tele is a Tele lends itself to kind of a rustic quality very, very easily. So you can build it out of, unique wood.
Sure.
You can do
reclaim
finishes.
Things. Yeah.
If you screw it up, it's okay because you can, rough it up and do, how many guys build for their first time, build a Les Paul and scratch it or ding it and then go, well, I guess it's a relic.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does that.
I'm seeing a lot.
Tons of Tele guys do that.
I think so.
Every Tele guy has done that.
I'm seeing a lot of names that I have not seen for a while, and a lot of names that I maybe brand new.
Cool.
And Patrick says that he's saving up for his first class, and he's a Les Paul guy.
Yeah.
That's Patrick. We would love to have you come out. Lou says, "Hit the like, everybody." Thank you, Lou. Let's see. Seal Beach Mike, who's moving to Atlanta, he might actually be in Atlanta now.
What's he going to move to Atlanta for?
I don't know.
Why would a guy from Seal Beach?
I don't know.
Move to Atlanta.
Yeah, Mike.
What does Atlanta have?
What's up?
Seal Beach doesn't have.
Yeah, what's up, Mike?
I think I might know.
He says he wants to build his own G&L SC2 from scratch once he gets his shop set up. He loves that. Which one is that?
I don't know.
Single cut too? I don't know.
Maybe. It's probably very slabby. It's probably very Mustang-like, if I was going to guess.
Okay. You think it has a stripe?
Do I think it has a stripe?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It may have not a big, but a metal control plate.
Okay.
That was one of the funny things about G&L is I think Leo liked the metal. Well, even if it wasn't a lot of chrome, it was always a metal control plate. I think he liked the shielding of that.
That's cool. Okay, so let's talk about some more ways that you can fail as a guitar builder. I think that one way you can fail is listening to the wrong people and not listening to the right people. So, what I mean by that, Chris, is if your idiot friends say make a guitar that looks like a ding dong, Well, okay,
hey, we know a lot of those people,
and guys. And ladies and gentlemen and lady, let's be honest, that's probably one lady watching.
Yeah. Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. There are no shortage of bozos who told me to make guitars that look just the dumbest looking things.
What's the second one that everybody told you to make?
Because it was always first like one shaped like a penis.
And then the second one was Pac-Man.
Oh, I didn't think. No, I only
have
have one guy told me about Pac-Man, I think. But
that was right after the right after the Wancaster.
So Henry Ford is credited with saying that if he asked people what they wanted, they'd have said faster horses. So I wonder, like, if you ask the wrong people, you know what I mean? If your focus group is full of buttheads, then don't be surprised, right, if you get a bunch of buttheads saying that.
You don't get the what was that car that? Well, that car was just designed by Homer, but
I forget. I know the one you're talking
designed
about.
by committee is a real thing, and it often ends up with the Gibson Firebird X.
Okay, that's a great
Something
example,
terrible.
right?
I don't know that guitar was, but I think that was throw a whole bunch of shit at the wall and build it, and then go, oh shit.
Hey, let's take a guitar that isn't particularly popular shape-wise.
Yeah.
In the pantheon of Gibson shapes,
I
think the Firebird X is probably most like the non-reverse Firebird.
Yeah, but I think it had a lot of what's that other one that we don't like?
The RD.
Yeah, the RD. I think it had a fair amount of RD involved.
It might have had some
big bulbous thing on it.
It is the in my mind, I actually really like the non-reverse Firebird. I think it's a
Firebirds actually.
Shape.
Yeah, I think they're both really, really cool.
But I think that in terms of sales, it's not the one that sells the most.
No.
So I think that probably to take a guitar and kind of make it, hey, fellow young people, here's a guitar that you'll really like. It's got, I don't even know, like Bluetooth or whatever it had.
It had a whole bunch of stuff, and from what I understand,
I don't know what it was supposed
to do. They stopped that, or they abandoned it, was the software was gone by the time they released it, or by the time it was time to release it. It was out of date,
just like any computer stuff is. Right? I heard exactly that. And you know who told me that? None other than Phil McKnight.
There you go. I might have learned it from Phil. I might have heard it secondhand or third hand or fourth hand. You might have told me.
Every so often,
might have told me that.
About 2 or 3 times a year, I will have a 3 or 4 hour conversation with Phil McKnight.
You should take notes.
And I record it. There's a lot of stuff in there. So let's take a super chat from Seal Beach Mike, who says,
so I think the Gibson Firebird X would have failed even without that software shit in it.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't have been popular. So nope. He says, when I started even assembling and finishing parts casters, I got the most helpful info from TTG and Chris Monk at Highlight. That is very kind of you, Mike. That's a really cool thing to say, sir. Thank you very much. What a lovely sentiment.
Heard from Chris at Highline.
No, it's been a while. We should reach out to him.
At the beginning of the year, we should reach out. See what's going on. He's a cool guy.
Dale Gribble, who I may or may not be Rusty Shackelford, who may or may not be Lauren Shipley, who may or may not be, says, what about the Prince cymbal guitar?
That one's pretty stupid.
That one's pretty dumb, but it was attached to something that everybody loved in 1983 or whenever that movie came out.
Are we talking the
Purple Rain? Oh,
not the cloud guitar, the cymbal guitar.
Oh, yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, but I think that was a bespoke thing specifically for him, and so that makes it okay. Still stupid.
Okay, so that's a great segue into how to make a guitar and not fail. Get somebody who's really famous like Prince to go, here's a bunch of money, just make this absurd thing.
Yeah. I think that works on both of those guitars. I mean, I kind of know the story of the cloud guitar and how there was a bass that was very,
original,
very
right?
Similar. Yeah. And he wanted a guitar that looked a lot like that, and dimensions and all of that. That's kind of a goofy looking guitar too.
Yeah.
So
it's not like, there are examples of that you can buy. I think Schecter made one for a while, and some other people have made them. It's not a particularly hard guitar to find and buy one of, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
I have never seen one like, you go to the Lion's Lair and there's some guy with a Prince cloud guitar.
Or even you go to the local music go round, or you go to the local whatever. Yeah.
I actually did
the Guitar Center.
I actually did see one of those, maybe 2 of them. They were those Schecters.
Yeah.
Do you remember when there was that guitar show in Denver at in 5 Points at the whatever Cervantes,
yeah.
There was one of them there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And of course we made one, and Jared has it. I don't or had it, and I don't know if he still does or not. I don't know if he's playing out or not. But
yeah.
Let's take a super chat from our good buddy Dan up in Canada, who says, yeah, if I had to blame someone for this guitar fetish, it'd have to be Matt and Chris. I don't know why
I was blaming Dan for something the other day. Oh,
I think it's a good thing to blame Dan. Yeah.
Wasn't anything important, Dan.
A doc sent us a super chat and says, as much help as online videos can be, there is no substitute for in-person learning taught by knowledgeable professionals like yourselves. Ask me how I know. How do you know, Don? And Don's coming out in
knowledgeable professionals.
What, a couple a week from tomorrow?
No, a week from today.
Week from today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a week from yesterday.
Okay.
So that he can be here bright and early. Yeah, because we're doing a Thursday, Friday thing.
Okay.
And then a Saturday thing. And I heard about sausage making.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out.
We will find out.
All right. So let's see. Let's
save up for sausage.
Let's get back on track here with this this how to fail at guitar making. We touched on listening to dummies. But what about not listening to people who? So okay, one of the problems that I'm going to a certain location here.
Okay.
In 1961, Gibson, or 1960, Gibson stopped making what we know and love as the Les Paul and began making what we now know as the SG, but called it the Les Paul. And they didn't make what everybody said they wanted for many, many, many years. And that's a maple top, humbucker equipped, carved top Les Paul, basically the 1959 Les Paul. They didn't make that until many, many years later. And people were like, what we want is this. What you want is mini humbuckers. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. That's neat, but we don't want that. Oh, what you want is a Bigsby. No, we don't want that. We want this other thing. And it was almost like, and there's a lot of theories about why Gibson did that, but it's almost like we don't want to listen to the people who spend money. And I think that's a real, so there's a fine line between betting on yourself and not listening to these bozos.
Yeah.
And betting on yourself with a complete disregard for what people are asking you to make.
Yeah. I think that's
you probably have some examples of that.
Yeah, I think I do have some examples of that. The funny thing is not betting on yourself with something that's completely in your wheelhouse. It's not it's not like people were asking them to make Wangcasters.
Yeah. You know what we want is the Corvus.
Two humbucker Wangcasters, baby. Yeah. So I don't know why they didn't do that, but they kept marching forward with a bunch of stuff that people didn't really want. And
they came close to what people said they wanted.
Yeah.
But they didn't really give it to them until many, many years later.
And they had a bunch of goofy stuff there for a while. And yeah, I think what can happen is companies can get myopic and go, we know what's best. We're gonna oh, you want that? Okay, yeah, we're gonna improve on that. We don't think that was, the 59 Les Paul, it was okay.
Well, I think
if you want it, we'll do it, but we're gonna improve on that guitar. You don't want big humbuckers. You want these cute little
these little guys.
Right? Look at this. It's just exactly the same.
There is rumor. It is rumored that there were a bunch of mini humbucker size things and a bunch of guitars with P90 routes in them. And what can we jam in there that would be easier? I don't know if that's true.
Well, they could have developed a new trim ring and rehogged them out and put humbuckers in.
Well, and instead what they did was invent a new trim ring and put humbuckers in that were the wrong size.
Yeah, there you go. So,
one of the things that Fender, and again, this is how you succeed and how you don't fail. You don't do so. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but Leo Fender thought that, well, after we make the Strat, no one's going to want that Telecaster.
Yeah, he thought
after we make the.
Well, that's the rumor. I don't know that that's true, but yeah, he thought of the top end model as the Fender guitar.
Yeah,
and that the Strat would bypass the Telecaster. Pretty soon, nobody would want a Telecaster, and onward and on.
Can you imagine what would have happened if he just said, "Well, that's it. We're not making those Tellies anymore."
Yeah, turn it off. Luckily, he wasn't the guy that made that decision.
He wasn't.
That would have been what happened. Just like you couldn't get a Tweed whatever amp, they stopped making Tweed Bassmans in 59, and after that it became a head and a cabinet. You couldn't still get that.
Yeah.
So things marched forward, but on amps, but not on guitars.
Jay has a really good one. He says, crap parts is a good way to fail any build. Jay, we're getting to that. That one is one that I want to circle back around to. But I do have one other thing that I want to say about this whole listening to bozos when you should be listening to people who have money. Shut up and take my money.
How do you tell the difference?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know the answer.
I think for me, I have to actually see something, not necessarily in person, but I have to see that they know what they're talking about by example, not just spouting rhetoric.
We see that a lot,
I need to see that they actually know what they're talking about.
Well, and not just saying words, right? Putting their money where their mouth is. So, like, for example, people have said, oh, your challengers need to have a different headstock. Well, I'm not going to change the headstock. I'm actually quite fond of it.
Yeah, and I think most people like the headstock, like us.
However, when people say, "Oh man, I really want a carved top. I really want a carved top. I really want a carved." Okay, fine. Here's a carved top.
Yeah, and now, carved top is it's so popular that pretty much it's almost all we do.
Yeah, I want a super lightweight. Great idea. Let's do that. Sure. Let's do more of that.
Yeah,
I don't know, but then here's a problem that I always have, Chris. For whatever reason, my default position when it comes to building instruments is answering a question nobody asked. I don't know why, but I always seem to gravitate towards things like, let's put that in, it'll be different. Let's do this, it'll be a different thing. We haven't done that yet. And sometimes I land on something good. Oftentimes, though, I kind of get this like, well, again, a solution to a problem that nobody had. And now the flip side to that is you can have a solution that is so good that nobody wants it. I'm so used to the way for example, I'm so let's fix the Gibson Les Paul and let's fix the Stratocaster and let's fix the whatever. Let's fix the Flying V. Name any guitar, let's fix it. Nobody wants it because what they like is what it is, and with warts and all, they've also convinced themselves that no, that's not a flaw, that's a feature. They've been told by So I can tell you this much. I know for a fact that there is somebody who does or did work at the Fender Custom Shop who was watching our channel. I know for a fact. It is my truth. I guess it's not a fact. It is my truth. And when we did Beetle Kill Pine guitars, and then the Fender Custom Shop came out with Beetle Kill Pine guitars, and I'm like, that's a coincidence. When we did Next, that we painted blue and red and green and yellow, and then the Fender Custom Shop came out with a bunch of those that were blue and green and red, and like, well, I guess great minds think alike, right? When I saw the half fretted, half fretless bass, like 2 weeks after I did a video about that, and then saw it at the Fender Custom Shop, I'm like, okay, somebody's watching. You'll notice that none of those things are made by either the Fender Custom Shop anymore or Texas Toast Guitars, unless somebody. So I think weird things for the sake of being weird.
Well, yeah, I think so, and I don't know. The Beetle Kill Pine thing. I remember seeing some other, home shop and small guys using Beetle Kill Pine, and we were at the wood store that one day, and they had a bunch of really nice looking Beetle Kill streaky blue stuff. It was like, oh, that's really neat, so we made a fleet of them as fast as we could. There's a video, and that was really fun, and those were really cool. That was when I first decided that Telecasters lend themselves to kind of a rustic look.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and a Beetle Kill Telecaster, no matter what the finish, I mean, you could just wipe oil on it and be like, That's cool.
Good to go.
Telecaster or Beetle Kill Strat, you got to put more effort into it.
It was
Beetle Kill Jazzmaster, you got to put a whole lot more effort into it.
Yeah, that's right.
To make it look, not homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
And I might have been speaking out of turn. For all I know, the Fender Custom Shop still offers all that stuff. I don't
possibly.
I don't care.
We've been back to that store a lot, and the supply of Beetle Kill is almost non-existent now.
It's nothing like it was for a while there.
Yeah, because at least here, Colorado Beetle Kill, they cut down all the trees, and it's almost all gone now.
I bet you we sold close to 100 Beetle Kill pine bodies and complete guitars.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them. Yeah, we had a fleet of it. There was, I think we chucked that body that snapped in half. It was
on the wall. I gave it to somebody. I threw it out.
I think we might have given it out. Yeah. But anyway, that was really fun to do. Wouldn't want to make a living on that stuff.
Those were neat, and they were fun, and they were fast, and they kind of did everything that they did everything a telly was supposed to do.
Yeah,
they weren't. They looked rustic because they were, and then we didn't try to church them up and make them.
No,
we didn't bind any Beetle Kill pine bodies. Maybe we should revisit the pine Daily Driver. Maybe the Daily Driver is something we need to revisit. So in the interest of not listening to buttheads, guys, what do you think we should do? You guys aren't buttheads. You're our core. You're our people. You're who. What do you guys think we should? What do you think we should do? Let me tell you something that we will never do. That we will probably never do. We will probably never have the opportunity to do.
Okay.
And this, I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna circle back around to Jay's point about guitars that with dodgy parts and things like that. And a lot of people have been talking about like Shibsons and things like that. One of the things that I think a guitar builder can do is grow too quickly and say, hey, you know what? If I had a company in China or Korea or somewhere else overseas manufacture all my stuff for me, I can get the price point down to where I can be competitive with insert name of inexpensive guitar here. And if you do not stay on the QC part of that, and even if you do, I think it devalues, it negative inflations your domestically produced stuff.
I think so. I think, if you want to turn off the tap on your American produced stuff, ship it across the ocean and have somebody else do it. You will stop selling your top end stuff.
Now, I think someone's going to go, no, what about Paul Reed Smith?
Blah, blah, blah. Well, so that's a completely different thing.
Well, okay, you're right, it is. But I think that Paul Reed Smith is absolutely, positively going to the path of let's make a bunch of entry point guitars. Now, nothing wrong with the SE line. I think they're fantastic instruments. Notice I didn't say for what they are or for the money, or they're great. Here's how much pride and ownership a Paul Reed Smith SE has attached to it. Hey, Chris, I got a new Paul Reed Smith.
Oh yeah? Which one?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Is it an American made one? No. The all that stuff stops when you say, I got a brand new, whatever they call it a wood library 10 top thing from, and Paul Reed Smith himself went in and touched it. All the snobbery and nose up things at the import model stops when you don't have the import model. So I've seen companies, you've seen them too, that have basically gone under because of that. I'm not suggesting that Paul Reed Smith is going to go under, but Hamer and BC Rich are classic examples of guitars that used to be like instruments that were made by professional guitar builders, by craftsmen. And then they started just bringing in a bunch of stuff that
one reason or another. Somebody wanted to trade on the name, basically, is how that works. Is, oh, people are really digging these hammers, but not everybody can afford one.
Yep. You know what people want? Phony Floyds and iridescent green and pointy headstocks.
Yeah. We got a company that can make this sort of. Yeah. And that, I think one of the reasons that those guitars became popular was because they were something different and better than the stuff that was, even if it wasn't better, even if Hamer was making, well, basically Gibson knockoffs,
which they were.
Yeah.
The standard is a Gibson knockoff, or was.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't any better, don't know, wasn't there, can't say now, because those guitars have been through too many hands to go, oh yeah, these were, but they were something different. They were familiar but different, and people that in times have changed. Used to be you had a guitar. Now people have lots of guitars. There's nothing wrong with that. But and you played it and you wore it out and you replaced it, or you put it aside and you got another one, whatever. But there was some pride in ownership of that stuff, and people wanted to own something that was the newest thing or the best of the best, or something special, or something that nobody else knew about. And now, I don't want to sound like the old man. Back in my day, it was better. Yeah. Back when American was something, or whatever. But for a long time, American guitars were where it was at.
I want you guys to know,
a good guitar, you buy American.
Yeah. A lot of the things that we do, every single thing that we do, we don't make a lot of models.
No.
But like, for example, our truss rods, I trust our truss rods with, like, I've never ever once had a truss rod go bad.
Nope.
But how many times have you heard about, like, oh yeah, the import truss rods are on this model are junk? Remember that one Joe Caswell brought in that was like a coat hanger with a
that was an American made guitar.
I think it was.
It was.
So to Jay's point, if you load it up with crap, or you load a guitar up with a bunch of stuff that looks neat, but maybe doesn't quite work like it's supposed to, or maybe it just doesn't, like you said, that doesn't have the same pride in ownership because it's not the real thing. It kind of looks like it. It says the name on it, but it's not it.
So I was talking to Dylan today, and he's like, "Hey, did you see I got a new guitar?" I said, "Yeah, I saw it.
I did see that."
And he's like, "You would not believe how much fun it was to open a custom shop Gibson. I've never owned one. I've never." And he's just going on and on, and man, it was cool. And Dylan doesn't call me when he gets,
when he got his Hello Kitty
Silver Sky, or the Hello Kitty, not knocking the Hello Kitty,
but I think our pink guitars are cooler than the Hello Kitty.
Yeah, I think so.
Just
too.
FYI.
Yeah, I'll draw a meow meow on them if you want. Blue. But and instead of gear acquisition syndrome, how about gear appreciation syndrome?
Why not?
GAR, not GAR.
Yeah. Van Shank Guitars sent us a super chat and says, "In Rod we trust." Yeah. So there are. Do you have anything that we haven't touched upon? We have a few more minutes, and I'd like to deep dive in a little bit to the Essential Guitar Building Workshop, but.
Yeah.
Do you have anything? Do you think we summed up? Do you think we solved all the world's problems tonight?
Sure, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
My one of my new things is, it's easy to talk tough. It's easy to, but until you show me something, I don't really care. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to. Okay. That's cool.
That's what we say to the bozos who say make a guitar that looks like this, or
well, it's easy. Why don't you do it? Yeah,
it's so easy.
Here, you take this one apart without breaking it.
Well, we've got a half a dozen people who are going to be joining us tomorrow for our first ever Essential Guitar Building Workshop. This is a true class, and it's something that I have been looking forward to. because it's something that I feel very strongly about. And let me tell you guys what it is. This first one is, well, this weekend and next week, there are 2 different levels, level 1 and level 2, and they are all about necks. And you will be given a pile of wood, and you will actually, if you stay for level 1 and level 2, you'll be building 3 necks. Now, you'll be building a Fender style neck and a Gibson style neck with all of the stuff that you would associate with Fender style necks and Gibson style necks. And you will also be building a practice neck. So the idea of the practice neck actually came about when someone said, "Hey, should I build a guitar out of 2x4s?"
We were talking about practicing with stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the idea is that you will make a bunch of mistakes. In fact, I expect you to drill holes incorrectly, shape things wrong, radius things wrong, get frets that pop up on the end, do a bunch of different stuff that I want you to get wrong, because you don't become good by like just being good at everything from the get-go. I guess you're already good at that point. You learn a lot more from your failures than you do from your losses than your victories, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is we're gonna so on tomorrow, day 1, like I said, I'll issue you a bunch of things, and the neat thing is we're going to be using tools that you can easily acquire at, say, a home center like Home Depot or Menards or whatever you have in your area. Lot of hand tools. The power tools that we're going to be using are not great big industrial tools. For example, you will not be using the pin router at all. I'm going to show the deadhead sander when it comes time to do some neck shaping in level 2, but you will not use it. What's some other thing? I'm going to talk about just really it's kind of a chance for me to geek out and deep dive into stuff like, what is S3S? What is quarter sawn lumber? If I take a piece of flat sawn lumber and turn it like this, it doesn't just magically become quarter sawn lumber, though the grain is now vertically oriented. And I have a bunch of people who, don't take this the wrong way, who paid me for my wisdom to listen to what I have to say and build necks with me. I love all of the stuff that we get to do on YouTube, but a lot of the people on YouTube who are in the comment section, not you guys, do this thing where they're like, they want to try to correct me. I'm like, well, your opinion is valid, but it's just your opinion, and I don't want to
show you.
But yeah. What are you doing? So there are a bunch of people who've paid to come in here and learn and really just do a lot of guitar work and a lot of woodwork. There will be no finishing. That's for the finishing workshop. We won't be building bodies. That's for the body construction workshop. Mm-hmm. There won't be any setup work. That's for the setup workshop. There won't be any electronics. That's for the electronics one. But all of these workshops, guys, it's basically a way to learn at your own pace. You don't have to take them in order. You can take them out of order if you want. The first one was necks, and we wanted to test the efficacy of this, and it basically sold out. So I think that tells me everything I need to know. People are interested in woodworking and learning to actually build guitars as much as they are interested in coming in on Monday and walking out with a completed thing on Friday. Obviously, we can't do that and learn a lot about guitar construction in 5 days.
Yeah.
So this is a way to deep dive into neck building and shaping necks and radiusing fretboards. What does it take to do that? What does it take to press in frets? What does it take to hammer in frets?
There's going to be lots and lots of stories of the way we used to do things and why we don't do them anymore. Mm-hmm. And yeah. And usually it's this, because it takes too long. It's too hard if you want to build more than 1 or 2 a year.
Yep.
Yeah. My first Texas Toast guitar only took 1.5 years.
Only took 1.5 years to make that bad gig.
Yeah.
Mike wants to know, are we doing more neck workshops in 2025? And Butch says, can you take the first neck class and not the second neck class the same week? Okay. Mike and Butch, the answer to both those questions is yes. Mike, the reason that we are only doing one of these classes is because we wanted to see if we could do this in conjunction with another workshop that month. And I think that so like, for example, the workshop that we're doing starting tomorrow, Chris will have very little, if any, actual involvement in, freeing him up to do the stuff that he needs to do during the day. When Doc comes out for the finishing workshop, I will have hardly anything to do with that except go, hey, Doc, let's go to lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
And it will be Chris and Doc working on that. And I can do whatever it is that I'm doing that day, or that couple of days.
I'm a little worried that everybody's not going to get to see me as much as they
You'll be right there. They can see you. Okay. You can still interact with Chris. You can go up and tap on the glass. You can.
Yeah. Put the dollar in the slot.
You can. Yeah. He'll dance around.
Yeah.
No, Chris will be here. But one of the problems with the super like constricted 5-day class where you start with stuff and you end up with a guitar, you walk out, 40 hours later with a fully operational, fully painted guitar, is it takes every minute of that 40 hours of Chris and I to make sure that it comes off.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's very little time for theory or anything else.
Yeah.
It's basically come to the shop and do it like we do it.
Yeah. There's not a lot of.
Yeah. Well, can I do it this way? Well, yeah, when you go home, but can't do it like that here.
So one of the things that we wanted to do, Mike, is test some of this stuff out and see. And Next seemed like a pretty good place to start.
Well, we've done some of this, not all of it, but we did some online classes. And we sold stuff and showed people how to shape a neck very, very quickly on some live videos that we did and things like that. And it's not that hard.
Yep.
If you had 10 more to do that day, it would be, but
I think getting some training from someone who's done it before has a value too.
Absolutely.
You know what? I don't think it. I know that.
Yeah. You know where I learned to do it? With you.
Yeah, by doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know where I learned to do it? I paid to go to school.
Yeah.
And I did that.
And then you worked for somebody that. Yeah.
In any case, yes, there will be more of these essential guitar building workshops in 2025. As a matter of fact, Mike, as soon as we get classes going, there's going to be probably one a month. We'll have our regular workshop. So like, for example, our PRS workshop or our whatever else it is, the Les Paul workshop, whatever it is, Telecaster Strat, Super Strat, etc. We'll have one of those a month. And then I want to do one of these essential guitar building ones also every month. Now, this first time we did, Butch, in answer to your question, we did level 1, followed immediately by level 2, again, to just kind of test to see if people would want to do.
Test it out and see and figure out what people want. And then also put both of those groups into the next class.
Yeah.
Because I think there'll probably be a fender bodybuilding and a set neck bodybuilding.
There will be a through neck
style.
Body. Yep.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
There'll be one that's just paint. There'll be one that's just setup.
So if you have no interest other than building bolt-on style necks and bolt-on style bodies, you can take just that portion all the way through.
Yeah, you can take level 1.
Never once have to glue a neck in.
Nope. You can. So you're right. You can do level 1 neck and level 1 body, and you can basically have a Fender style telly or whatever you want.
I mean, it's kind of a cop out, Butch, but
No, and to Butch's point, if you can, I can only make it to level 1. Can I take level 2 next time you offer it? Absolutely.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, is we talked about, and it all of a sudden becomes a logistical nightmare. But the next time, then we'll offer level 2 neck first with level 1 body or level 2 body, and that's going to be impossible. But
Brad Guitar Miller says, hi guys, ad-free, late fee. I would stay, learned a lot about a guitar building, and the classic Fender class inspired me to expand my small business. Thank you so much, Brad. That's very cool, man. And thank you for the super chat too. We've got just 2 more minutes, but so let's talk a little bit more. Let us know what you would like to see in the essential guitar building workshops. Like I said, I have to make it through the next 6 days. And I want to do these on weekends too. So that's the idea, is that you don't have to take a bunch of time off from work. You still got to get here, But
yeah, there was
but what I would like to see is probably a dozen of these things coming in 2025. Things like more neck stuff, more body stuff. Maybe we'll, do some pickup winding. I don't know. There's a lot of pie in the sky stuff that we don't know. Paint is one. Doc's going to come out and help us with that one.
We're going to learn a little bit about, how to go about that.
So there are lots of that stuff coming up, and there's going to be a lot of pictures and a lot of video for you guys to see of essential neck building level 1 and level 2 this weekend. And with that, I think we're done, sir. I want everyone to go check out Dylan and his lovely wife, Leslie, and hang out with them for a couple hours. Chris, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, not really.
All right. Well, we will. Anything tomorrow? Probably not.
No, definitely not tomorrow because you're going to be worn out by the end of the day.
Yep.
Unless I decide I want to do it on my own.
Okay. Well, maybe who knows?
Yeah, but probably not.
How about this? Probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a 1% chance. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.